So iCure is wonderful. It's a great example of how you get students outside of an academic or classroom setting and into a research lab. I think for a lot of them, that's exciting and it's scary, but you want to push those students to go in directions where they had never gone before. And I think that's why this program is so exciting.
The students typically were really into it. They spent a lot of time researching the topics that they wanted to study. They spent a lot of time forming their groups.
Students from different majors, putting them together to work in groups.
Only a couple of them were biology majors. We had everything in there from theater to psychology, you name it.
A lot of students don't like to be forced to work together, but I think when you do that, they see things from a different perspective, and the diversity aspect of that is so important, especially in our day and age.
Prep for a mini-cure is very different from prep for a cure that's run for the entire semester, which can be 15 to 16 weeks.
Looking back on it, I was like, oh man, that was so much work and that was so much time. But during all of it, it was just a whirlwind where the students were so excited to do it that we just, got in and we just did it.
My students were really dedicated. They showed up 3 days a week for about 2.5, 3 hours a day during those 3 days to be able to get in all of their time to earn their credit hours.
We had 4 class periods to do this, which means a lot of the prep work had to be done well in advance before the students came to the lab.
If you're able to condense a research project that usually might take a semester, 2 semesters, into 8 weeks, but they did it.
One of the groups was so excited about their research that they themselves took their research paper and got it published in a student research journal, and that was solely motivated by them.
They get so excited, and I really think that's what it's all about, is getting them excited about science, excited about doing science, and being able to own their project, even if it is just for a short 4-week period that we're trying to incorporate into a larger course.
One of the important things about the iCure is that it exposes students to a variety of different situations. And those different situations are not all successful. And I think that's good.
As we had one group that wanted to look at an abandoned farmland in South Phoenix. So you have both lead and arsenic in the soil. Well, this group that owned the land was trying to rejuvenate it. So apparently they put mulch on top of the land. And so when my students went out there to sample the soil, they did not find either lead or arsenic.
Part of learning, part of science is also failure and how to respond to that failure. And working within a group that can have support for each other and they can work through those failures and actually turn them into a success.
But what I then had them do is I said, well, okay, go to that farm site, look at the areas where we think the lead should have been, because it probably is just somebody put compost on top and we're using an instrument that's only sensitive to part per million. So I said, go out there and pick some of the weeds. Find the plants that are growing up on there, and then let's look in those and see what metal we can find. And in this way, they were actually able to show different levels of these metals in some of the plants on there.
I think an overall challenge is to try to get the students to simplify and instead of take this one big chunk, take these tiny little baby bites and start getting that big question broken down into smaller questions.
I had no idea on how to do a statistical test that actually looked at the length of the shoots and compared the 2 groups.
They had wanted to try something new, and it was an instrument, I had no idea how to do it. And I'm like, here's the instrument, here's the instructions.
We looked up a statistical test that would work, and they did it. And so this was a real success in that we all learned something that day.
I can tell you that if it had been the first or the second week of class and I had just handed that to the students and said, here, you figure it out, they wouldn't have been able to do it. But by the end of the class, the students just, oh, okay, here's a conductivity meter. We'll figure it out.
But this is one of the neat things about the class is it allows you then to have the students bring their skill sets in and use that to teach other students.
The kind of light bulb moment, the aha moment that went on in the students, I get it. I am a scientist.